everybody, welcome to our show. This is our new show, Yuridia on Air. And well, this is a day that we're launching our new brand. So you guys are the first one to join us. So congratulations. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And I'm honored because today we have a great topic that a lot of people have been waiting for. I have a lot of ladies asking me, hey, I want to send my child to school, but I don't know, the information. So today we're going to talk about immigration and education. And we have these wonderful friends and ladies from Colleges of Mary that are going to tell us about Colleges of Mary and what do they do and where you are located. And so we're going to go around here. We're going to introduce first my friend, and then we go over here and then over here, okay? And if you guys have any questions, we're live on Facebook right now. You're welcome to put your comments, and then we're happy to answer any questions that the audience can have. So tell us about yourself. Tell everybody who you are.
Yes. Good morning. I'm Kati Pitak. I'm the Senior Director for Alumni Relations at the college, and I have been there 21 years. I'm originally from Chile. So working at the college has been probably one of the biggest blessings I have had in the last 20 years. So I'm happy to be here and talk about us and what we can offer to the community.
So 20 years since you were a baby when you started.
I started very young, but not that young.
So
young
you
enough
studied
to learn.
there first,
No,
or where?
I did not. I did my undergraduate at University of Nebraska at Kearney.
Okay.
Then my master's at Michigan State, and then I worked at University of Arizona, and I moved back to Nebraska. And
you've been all over the place.
yes, I have. But this is my home away from home.
Okay, and home is Chile, you said,
Yes,
right?
correct.
Is Chile in the World Cup right now? They're always in the World
No,
Cup.
no, it's
they're
embarrassing. No, we're not.
Sorry.
So,
But
yes.
We'll talk about that later.
We'll talk about that another time.
Yes, and how did you end up in Colleges of Mary?
When I came back to Nebraska, I was looking for jobs, and I interviewed in a couple places. And at first, at Colleges of Mary, I didn't know much about it. I thought, oh, it's a private school. There's probably a lot of money there. That was a total misunderstanding on my part, because I always work in public institutions. And so I applied for a job there, and within, I think that was October 2001. And
wow, you really like
yes, and when I got the call from my former supervisor, I say yes on the spot. It just, and it was right after 9/11. And one of the things that impressed me was two things. One, they still had something in front of the chapel talking about the victims and praying for them. And then they had shoes hanging all over the place. I don't know if you remember this. It was an event that putting yourself in somebody else's shoes. It was a service event. So people were donating shoes to give to those in need. And I was like, oh, this is a good place to be. I understood that service was a big part of who we are now. But at that time, I'm like, I never been at a place like that. So when I got the call from Tara, I was like, yes, I would take this job.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, those little things
Those little things, those shoes hanging
Those
all
shoes.
over the place, all over the ceiling and walls. That's where they were on the first floor.
And
So-
in your position now, what is it that you do? Like, what's your service?
I basically work with alums. So since I've been there that many years, I have had the privilege of staying in touch with many of them. So engaging them back to the college. When we think about alumni relations, most people think about money, but there's the 3 T's: your time, your talent, and eventually your treasure, because your treasure helps our students. So we raise money for scholarships and other things. And I think that's the other thing that I enjoyed about the job is like, you were here once, now how can you pay it forward? I started a mentoring program too, so that has been helpful for our current students. So if you're a senior, you get paired up with an alum of the college in the similar field as you, so they help you transition into your professional life. So it's connecting people.
Oh, wow.
And and I also work with the Misericordia, along with Daniela, which is a scholarship that supports undocumented students.
Okay, we really want to talk about that because I know we get a lot of phone calls too and messages about scholarships, because we have students that, children that they came here undocumented. I would say against their will, because they didn't know that was their journey. And now they're getting to the age where they're graduating from high school and they want to go to college, but they don't have a social security number. And the law applies different when you're an immigrant, right? And but they want to do things right. And so I heard about that a scholarship, Misericordia. Both of you guys are in there, or what is it? Is it only for College of St. Mary, or?
Well, first of all, I'm Mary Ann Stevenson. I'm the president of College of St. Mary. And we started the scholarship about 20 years ago now, because we had a recruiter who was specifically hired to help us recruit more Latinas to the college. And she came one day, and there was a student that she had been working with in South Omaha who was undocumented. And she said, Dr. Stevens, that's what people call me at the college. Dr. Stevens, is there any way that we could help her? And I said, well, let me think about it, which is what I always say when I don't know the answer. So we went and found donors who would support that student and pay for her tuition and her room and her board. And so we called it Misericordia, Mercy. We called it our Mercy Scholarship for students who are undocumented. And today we have 40 students on the campus who are supported by private donors who receive full tuition, room, and board. And we just have partnered with a national organization called Dream US. And they raise money for the same thing. And so we're going to be able this next year to take 10 new students who will get the Dream US scholarship plus the Misericordia scholarship. And again, they will get full tuition and room and board.
Wow, that is great news. Tell us about you. How do you ended up in College of St. Mary?
Lordy,
So, I mean,
well,
all
that's
our
a long
friends.
story. That's a long story. But I've been there for 27 years.
27 years,
Yes.
so also like a baby, right?
Yeah, well, you know, I am going to retire at the end of this academic year. Next June, I'll be retiring, but I've been there for 27 years. And so I always say I've been at 4 colleges, but in the same place, because so much has changed since 1996. We didn't even have laptop computers, we didn't have cell phones, we didn't have outside email in 1996. So education has really changed. You know, how we facilitate students' education. But I got there because I was teaching at Creighton University, which is also here in Omaha, in the theology department, and I was on the board of the college. And so they were looking for a new president, and they said, why don't you do it? And I said, I already have a job. But anyway, but I really experienced a call to do it.
That's one of the things. Well, I'm a student at College of St. Mary, and one of the things that attracted me was that it was all women. It was all women, and then the second thing is that there was a lot of non-traditional students, and and I said, I need a place that is small, that I can concentrate, because I got too much going on. But most important, I felt, because I visit many colleges, but in that college I felt that there's a big support. Like, they want you to succeed, they want you to get everything that you need. And like, look at you, like, you guys saw the student that had an issue, a challenge, and instead of saying no, because it's just easier to say no, you said, let me think about it. And then Misericordia was born, right? The same thing, what I never knew that College of St. Mary had single moms in there. So you need to explain to me, how did that happen? Because that is, for a lot of women, I remember in 2004, I was in college and I had to drop out because I got pregnant, and it was just difficult. It was just, I thought, oh, well, I'm going to have my baby and then come back I'm going to have my baby on spring break and come back. That doesn't happen like that. It was so hard, and I have to drop out of college because I say, I can't do everything. Like, babies take a lot of time. They take a lot of time, and then you have to work. So you are, especially in the Latinas environment that I grew up, because I'm a first generation student. There wasn't really much support to go to college, because it's not something that, it wasn't in the family. And so I wish I knew the colleges are married. And I said, where is this a hidden place? Are you guys hiding it? Or like,
We
how
try
come-
not to, Yuridia.
And it's everybody needs to know about the services about colleges are married. A lot of people think it's only women, but there's some exceptions, right? And then for single moms, like the mom lived there, or how?
Yeah.
Tell me about that program.
Well, it's the same thing. It was a need. So in the year 2000, a young woman who lived in Hartington, Nebraska, she was living in our residence halls because we have regular residence halls, you know.
Okay.
And she came to me in April and she said, I'm pregnant and I don't know how I'm going to finish my senior year if I can't bring my baby back to the dorm. And I said, let me think about it.
Oh, see?
And so I read in the Chronicle of Higher Education the next week an article about a college in the East that had bought a house down the street for single moms who were students to live with their children. And so I sent our residence life people out there to find out what are the rules. Well, there's only 2 rules. You can't have a child in class, and the children can't be unaccompanied on the campus.
Okay.
So that year we started with 8. And now we then in 2012, the program grew so much, we built a freestanding residence hall, and we call it Madonna Hall after mother and child. And it's for single mothers who can have up to 3 children now. We started out with 2, but they can handle 3 as long as they're not teenagers.
Okay.
You know, and the children live and eat there free, and the mom pays the same tuition, room and board as she would with whatever the financial aid is that she receives. So, because most of the children are very young and how much they eat, you know. But when you mentioned, Yuridia, how we try really to respond to every student's need, I want Daniela to have an opportunity to talk about the Student Success Program, because once a student registers, we ask a team of student success advisors to work with them with regard to what particular needs they have, whether they're learning needs or life needs. And Daniela leads that program.
Okay, Daniela, you've been too quiet.
It's the
So
caffeine,
tell us,
I'm telling
everybody,
you.
who you are,
It
and
hasn't
tell us
kicked
about
in.
that program.
Sounds good. My name is Daniela Rojas Flores, and I am the Assistant Dean of Student Success at CSM, the College of St. Mary, and I have been working at the college since 2016. But I actually was one of the Misericordia Scholarship recipients in the past. So I started my undergraduate journey at CSM in 2011 with wonderful mentors, Kati being one of them. And it was a hard journey because I wanted to be an architect. And right away I had people that were like, you can't do that. You need papers. You need a residency or a citizenship to do that. So I said, that's fine. I don't care. I can just be a teacher. Well, you can't do that either, Daniela. You can't. Well, you don't have papers. Okay, fine. I'll be a nurse. Well, you can't do that either. You need papers. Okay, fine. What can I do? And thankfully, I had wonderful mentors, my academic advisors and people in my life that said, just study. My mom used to say all the time, they can take everything away from you but your education, so just study anything you can. So I double majored in art and theology, and then I completed the medical interpreting certification. And I graduated from CSM and graduated with honors and did all these wonderful things, and then I became a nanny because I still wasn't documented. I didn't have a legal status here yet. So thankfully, life happened and I was able to get my documents. And I remember very clearly, I posted a picture on my Facebook with a shirt that said, it was something in the lines of like, relax, I'm legal now, or something like that. And that next day, I had a phone call from Kati offering me a job at College of St. Mary because of my involvement at CSM and because of my leadership and all the wonderful things that I had been able to do while I was a student there. So I started working as a residence hall director, interim director, and really quickly realized that being married and living in a building full of girls and like having weird hours and being on call just wasn't going to be it, but I loved it. I had done it through undergrad. So I ended up working in admissions for a while, then worked for the occupational therapy department. And about a year and a half ago, I was gifted the opportunity. Really, it's been a really huge gift, not just personally, like it's been a great challenge in my career, but it's also kind of been a really exciting time because it's something that we hadn't had to this extent in the past at CSM. So I've been able to lead a lot of the efforts in our new Office of Student Success. So, but yeah, so that's kind of me in a nutshell. I'm originally from Colombia, moved to the United States in 2007 for a variety of reasons.
They're not in the World Cup either.
Yeah, we're not in like Yucati. Put salt in the wound, why don't we? But so, yes, a couple of years ago, we were looking at some of our retention data and realized that although our institution is very wonderful at providing these resources, oftentimes students just need a little bit of direction. And so it's intimidating when you have your academic advisor who is also your instructor, who is also the department chair, who also sits on like the review boards and the appeals process. So it's one person wearing multiple hats, as it happens in a small institution. So we had in the past an individual that very, very, intelligently created a retention process for our institution, but we needed to expand on it a little bit more. So we're utilizing a software that allows us to alert different things happening on our campus, different things happening for our students. So if a student, let's say you're taking one of your moral reasoning philosophy classes and your instructor sees that you are struggling with maybe test-taking strategies or reading comprehension or note-taking, they can submit an alert, and then a team member of student success or student support services might reach out and say, hey, why don't we check in? I haven't seen you in a while. Let's talk about how you're doing. Let's set some goals. So we work with students on a variety of different things. I like to say that we are the bridge between our academics and everything else that is happening with the student, whether it's with support services, whether it's students struggling to find Christmas gifts for their children, or students that might need outside counseling resources, or a student that might be facing food insecurity and they need, I need a pantry, I need to figure out what to do in the next few weeks. So the range, the scope in which we help students is very, very vast. I think on average we receive about 300 to 400 alerts each semester. This semester has been a little bit higher, but for a variety of reasons. Yeah, I think we're all dealing with life, and sometimes it piles up. Like you said, being a student for a lot of our students is their priority, but then life happens. Yeah. Then they get pregnant, or then something happens in their family. Many of them have to be the main caregiver for a lot of their family members, or they have to take ownership for a lot of, I have to take care of my little siblings while mom and dad work, or I'm gonna leave class, or I can't go to class today because my grandma's sick. So it's just a wide variety of things that are happening with our students, but we're very grateful. Now we have a team of 4, and we try to be really proactive. So we try to build a lot of relationships with students before those issues arise. So we'll do a lot of things at the beginning of the semester, introducing ourselves and telling them about who we are, why we're here, and we're here just kind of cheer you on and walk with you throughout this journey that is education.
Yes. Well, I'm glad that you guys are here and creating those programs, and that not only, because it's a struggle, right? Like there's a stage, well, I want to go to college, but what do I do? College it's too expensive for me, it's too difficult. And then finally, no, we'll have scholarships, come here, right? And then you go to, finally you are in class and you're like, okay, so I'm so happy. And then you're struggling in class, and that's where there's a program. Okay, let's figure it out. I remember I went to one of those, was it the donut? Is that one of those?
Yeah.
Yes.
We had an event earlier this week called, it was Do Not Stress, but it's donut. It was the donut theme.
Yeah.
So we had donuts for them. And we brought in a counselor that talked about stress management and identifying sites of stress and all the areas in your life in which stress manifests, and how you could, like financial stress. I'm like, oh my gosh, I needed this too.
Yes.
But yes, we had a good turnout. And, so some of those things are some of the things outside of the classroom that perhaps students wouldn't necessarily get if they were meeting with a faculty member. So we do things on financial literacy, resume building. We do mock interviews with the students. We've done a couple of things on mental health. And then obviously providing spaces where students can just get to know one another and just have an opportunity to rely on each other. I mean, many of them walk through the halls thinking that the world is kind of on their hands and they have to carry this massive weight. And we like to get them together so that they know, hey, you know, these students are going through the same thing that you are. Obviously, not to the same extent, but you should talk to one another. You should rely on one another, study together, build friendships, you know. So.
Yes, I think you guys do a wonderful job. It is what you're saying, that it's like a service. It's not just like, oh, here, get your degree and move out.
Yeah.
No, you guys are really, there's a chapel in there. I've been there and I said, oh my God, this is so nice. It's so quiet.
Yes, the chapel is really the center of the main building, and we hope when students pass it by, or if they stop in, they realize that it too is a place where they can just sit and, you know, even if they don't know how to pray, I often think if we just sit and mull things over, we might be praying, you know.
Yes. Well, it can be, I think more for women, we overanalyze things, or we think, oh, it's too much. I'm not, or how would I say, like, sometimes the low self-esteem goes down, but we don't believe a lot in ourselves. We don't think that we're capable of doing things.
I think I appreciate you mentioned earlier that how CSM felt different to you. So we do have, for undergraduate students, it's all women. Our master's or graduate level are open for men. But there is this camaraderie among women when they are together that is very different. And I think this is when you come together, there's a different conversation. Education can be very transformational. Education among all women can be even more transformational because we understand each other. And it is true, one of the things we work really hard is building confidence on all of the women who come through our doors. Some come in with a lot of stuff that has happened to them that really impact how they view the world and perhaps how they think the world views them. And so I think that's one thing we do really well, is trying to help them understand you have what it takes. You already came in. You and I have had those conversations. You come in, you have that. You have a desire, which is number one step you need to take. Number two is finding the resources that will support you to get through that desire, that dream that you have. You know, we support dreamers, meaning undocumented students, but we support the dream of any woman who comes, you know, through our doors. And because women, as our Mother Macaulay said, there's no greater contribution to society than the careful education of women. And by doing that, we're transforming society, we're transforming the life of their children and their own lives particularly, which more importantly, because by you changing yourself, you change everything around you.
Oh yeah, because if you're a mom, your children are watching.
That's
Yes.
right.
Right?
Yes.
And now the kids like, well, if my mom went to college and did this, well, I have no choice. I mean, that's my way. I'm going to
where
do
the bar
it.
is set.
Yes.
Yes.
So I think that was a beautiful quote about when you empower the woman, if you educate the woman, it's kind of like you educating the whole village, everybody around. Now the sister wants to come. And let me ask you, because I had a question from the audience. A lot of times, for the Latinas, they were asking me, is it only for like young girls? What about, is there an age limit? Those, a lot of times we think, well, I'm too old to go to school.
You're never too old to go to school, you know, and we actually had a woman a couple of years ago who was 65, 67 when she graduated.
Wow.
And she was only able, partly because of her health, she had gone to school when she was very young, and so she had maybe 2 years of credits, but she could only take 2 courses at a time. And she went through and she finished and she graduated. And interestingly enough, her granddaughter graduated 2 years later, you know, from College of St. Mary. So you're never too old. And we do have a number of women who are in their late 20s, 30s, but even older. Maybe there's only a couple. But the interaction in the classroom, like the young people think, oh, those old people, they know everything, and they're only 30, but the young person is 18, they know everything. And then the people who are in their 30s think, oh, those young people, they know everything. And but then it's the community of women that makes it work,
I feel like it's like a whole sorority in there. Everybody knows each other, which is really nice. I'm a student at College of St. Mary on the paralegal program, and we have all ages. And it's a beautiful place because you have someone different race or different religion. It's not just Catholic, right? Because it's any religion or no religion. And then we have everything in there. We have young, older, and I love it. Like sometimes I feel like, oh, you're like my daughter. You remind me like my daughter. Like, oh, you remind me like my mom and my sister. So it's a beautiful place.
Thank you.
I don't know if you guys have any events coming up, or you want to make an announcement of how do they find you. You want it?
Well, they can find us on our website. We have csm.edu, College of St. Mary.edu. That's the best place to get information. And if they are interested in these scholarships that we talked about earlier, they can just go to Misericordia Scholarship or Dream US Scholarship, put that in the search thing. They also can apply. There'll be a big thing that says apply now on every web page that they look at.
Okay.
So that's one of the best ways.
The best way. When you say apply, you have to pay when you apply, or there's no fee for that?
No, there's no fee to apply.
Okay.
There's a small fee when you register, $125 when you finally register for classes. But first you have to apply and be accepted, and meet the admission standards. And then when you register, that $125 when you register, it's kind of like a down payment on your tuition. It will be taken off your tuition.
Okay. So it's easy. It's the best way is the website.
Yes.
Yeah, the best place is the website.
Definitely.
Okay.
And I would say probably this is the time to apply, especially for Misericordia or the Dream US. They go hand in hand. And kind of to create some urgency, we only have 10 spots to award this year. So if anybody's interested, please apply. It's a really wonderful opportunity taken from somebody that has been able to go through this program, who knows the importance of a scholarship like this. It absolutely changed my life, and I couldn't be more grateful. Clearly, I'm still here. I liked it so much, right? But I love to work with those students, and I love to be a part of their journey. So let CSM be a part of your journey.
Yeah.
And let me say one more thing. Even if you're not undocumented, we are very affordable. We're one of the most affordable private colleges in Nebraska and in the region, and we get all kinds of awards for that. So so you don't have to be undocumented to come.
Yes. I know that's what I meant it clear, because I have a lot of friends from Puerto Rico too, and they say, well, we're citizen.
Yeah,
but
that's right.
No out-of-state tuition.
Yeah, there's no out-of-state tuition rate.
Check it out, guys. There's a lot of information. We're gonna post all the information on the comments, and then feel free to visit them.
Yes, please visit us.
Thank you. Have a good day. We'll see you next time.